Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RPG Limit Break for the 2019 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament Grand Final. There must be a winner tonight. There will be a winner tonight. MisterHomes versus up2ng. We started with 64 runners just under 11 weeks ago. We are now down to 2, and after tonight, we will be down to 1. Alongside Z-Man, I'm FearonBurgundy, and we'll be bringing you this Grand Final match action.
Hello, everybody, and this is what we have all been waiting for. This is winner take all. MisterHomes, up2ng have had 2 extraordinarily close races, and this is it. Whoever wins this is the tournament champion for 2019. I cannot wait for this. This is incredibly hype-tastic. I hope everybody here in chat is ready. This is going to be fun. This is going to be exciting. Let's do this.
Most certainly. We will find out in a matter of 1 to 2 hours, maybe a little more if it's really bad, whether MisterHomes will add a second title to his run, as he had initially won the inaugural tournament back in 2016, or whether up2ng will join that elite class. Now, the object of Dragon Warrior Randomizer, for those new to it, well, you picked a hell of a time to join us. The object is to find and defeat the evil Dragon Lord, and they'll be obtaining key items along the way here to access Charlotte Castle, home of the Dragon Lord. And they'll also be fighting enemies one at a time to gain weapons and armor gold to purchase weapons, armor, and items to help in their quest, as well as experience and levels to get stronger. And starting off here, we've got 3 treasure chests, including a torch to light the way. We've got Erdrick's sword, the best weapon in the game. Holy cow. And we've got a magic key to help them get out of that first room.
Yep, so far, this isn't going to be anything challenging unless this is a swamp seed. This is the minimum pot. Nope, no swamp. So this is going to be quite quick as far as leveling goes. We've got 15 strength and 55 attack power. This is going to be a quick one, at least for leveling. Well, let's see what this seed has in store.
Yeah, as you can see, I mean, red slimes that normally have up to 3 hit points, well, they're getting hit for in the 20s. So those are actually near max rolls for both here. So we're going to see levels jumping up fast here. In fact, both of our runners are going to jump from level 1 to level 3 with their respective kills. 9, 3, 13, and 6 for the combined gains of levels 2 and 3, and also the spells of Hurt and Radiant.
MisterHomes looks like he's going to get sniped by a blue dragon in whatever cave that happened to be and sent back to start. Meanwhile, we have up2ng doing a little bit of grinding here.
And as we've seen throughout the tournament, this is up2ng's modus operandi. Grind early, grind often, get what you need before venturing out. MisterHomes, getting a critical dodge on a Magidrakey there. That's a bit unfortunate. But MisterHomes, a little bit more adventurous.
Although there doesn't look to be a whole... Okay, so there is a nice little desert here south of Tantagel. But other than those back-to-back caves there isn't much so far. Although we do have a town here, MisterHomes, and it is Rimmildar. It is Key Town. We have easily accessible keys in this seed.
Just no money with which to purchase them yet, as even though the cheapest keys in the land in Rimmildar, they still cost 53 gold per key. Skeletons with Hurtmore going to take out up2ng. MisterHomes tried to flail away at a Wolf Lord, not quite enough to take it out.
Let's see if up2ng does some exploration. Does look like he's going to start his exploration a little bit here.
Trying to find a zone outside of that base zone known as Zone 0, where the toughest enemy you can find is a scorpion. It pulls from a pool of the first 7 enemies: slimes, red slimes, drakeys, ghosts, magicians, magidrakes, and scorpions. Whereas you get a little bit larger pool of an additional 8 enemies in that Zone 1 or Zone 2, that next 15 by 15 grid outside of the castle.
We have up2ng taking on a metal scorpion, and we do have Swamp South and the Jerk Cave as those 2 caves back-to-back there.
Yes, that is also, let's see, officially the Raindrow Drop Cave. That is where our runners will trade in the major items, the Staff of Rain, Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's Token to acquire the Rainbow Drop to build a bridge over that troubled water to cross into Charlotte Castle. But if you don't have the items, most notably Erdrick's Token, and you go to talk to him, he will kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is. That's why he is known as the Jerk. So during that explanation, we've got level 4 here for MisterHomes, and he finds out about the skeleton with Hurtmore. Meanwhile, up2ng, closing in on level 6, needs another 9 experience to get there. This Metal Scorpion will sure do it, and a nice crit on top of it.
Yeah, let's see if level 6 has good things for our runners. 2 power, 10 agility, and 1 hit point, no magic points. Somewhere, Empty Eye loves it.
Well, I believe he is in chat, so we're going to get that proclamation in a matter of seconds. And right on cue, there is Empty Eye in chat. Green Dragon a little bit much, and that's going to send MisterHomes back.
Indeed. Meanwhile, up2ng just steadily getting experience here in this zone out here to the east of Tantagel. These Metal Scorpions are really particularly nice and juicy. They can go down in 1 hit and give you 31 experience per. He's very close to his next level, level 7.
Yep, 337, the target experience number, so he is, mental math, 48 experience away at the moment. Drakema will get him just under halfway there.
Druin Lord on MisterHomes' side will go down in 2 hits and give 58 experience. That's a nice little piece of real estate right there. And Green Dragon again, sending MisterHomes back to start.
So it seems like MisterHomes looking for the home run swing here, looking for those mid to upper tier enemies, as opposed to up2ng, going with a little bit lower tier type enemy and just kind of chipping away little by little here.
Looks like MisterHomes is going to wander up to the desert, which has a little bit higher of an encounter rate. Meanwhile, up2ng does reach level 7 with a wonderful hit point gain of, I believe that was 17 or 18.
18 HP, and also the spell of Outside, which will help in those caves. If he wanted to go into that swamp cave, he could cast Outside from the south end and come out on the other end of the north side.
And up2ng does get to the town we know to be Rimmeldar and will stock up on keys. He will be the first in this seed to obtain some keys.
So this will allow access to a couple of different areas, including the 1 treasure chest in Rimmeldar, the 4 treasure chests inside Tantagel's treasury. Also, it'll allow access to the back of Tantagel that has a stairway to some other cave. Plus, once they find it, they'll have access to Garenham as well, which has 3 treasure chests and another stairway in the back.
And so it looks like up2ng is just going to check out what we have here in this chest. Let's see if it's anything worthwhile. It is the Fighter's Ring. I would absolutely consider that to be worthwhile.
Yep, put that on. It gives another 2 attack power. So already here at at level 7, we've got 83 attack power from our runners.
A little surprised up2ng didn't check out what was in the shop. Because if there was a silver shield there and there happens to be a gold grind available to our runners, that's a nice convenient place to have a silver shield.
Well, I think at this particular stage of the game, especially with the keys, for right now, the best defense is a good offense.
And there is a gold grind possible. We do have 3 gold chests in Tantagel Treasury, along with a torch.
Yep, all kinds of big bucks, and looks like up to NG may go with a little bit of a. Oh no, okay, he's gonna go right on past here, and meanwhile Holmes is gonna check out the treasury and get all kinds of gold into the mix here.
It looks like up to NG is going to max out on keys, and so is Mr. Holmes now. All right, let's see what we have. Tantegel Castle. We have the Shrine Cave, where our runners will exchange the
Silver harp for the Staff of Rain.
Thank you for that, as Discord decided to be Discord.
Gotta love when Discord becomes Discord.
Up to NG, knowing he's in Swamp South, casts the spell of Outside and goes up to Swamp North. Now, we have no idea whereabouts in Elfgard he is. Maybe another continent. It may be, just a couple of screens away. We have no idea at this point.
So Holmes going to go back into the treasury here, pick up the 3 more gold chests here, and I don't know, did he get a chance to see what was in Rimeldar's shops?
I don't think we've seen that from either one of our runners yet. And meanwhile, a knight sends up to NG back to start.
So maybe perhaps, I don't know, trying to get up to, well, now has over 3,800, maybe figuring that if there's a full plate armor and a large shield, that would be a fairly affordable series of armory.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like up to NG is headed down that way. Let's see. Nope, he is not going to go into Rimeldar. Now, the only thing that kind of sort of sucks about this start to begin with is we do not have any source of healing as of yet. Rimeldar is the only town in the game, other than Hawksnest, that does not have an item shop, and we haven't seen any herbs or any heal spells yet.
Looks like we've got mostly weapons and some really chintzy armor here. So all you need is 70 gold and you can buy the most expensive armor there. No need to purchase weapons, as our runners acquired the best weapon in the game, Erdrick's sword, right in the throne room.
Meanwhile, we do have Mr. Holmes finding the fighter's ring here in Rimeldar and puts it on, increasing his attack power by 2.
And an assessment in chat. Yes, there are different, I guess, regionalisms, we'll call them, for the various towns. Some say Rimeldar, some say Rimuldar, some say Tantegel Castle, some say Tantegel. Either way, regardless of your locality, we all have an idea of where we're referencing here.
So Weasel79 asks, what happens if you buy a weapon when you already have Erdrick's sword? Some interesting things. So it will prompt that, are you sure you want to sell Erdrick's sword? I believe it prompts it for 1 gold, I do believe. And if you happen to say yes, Erdrick's sword will go back to the chest from which it came, which in this seed would be a bit of a problem.
Because it is unrecoverable, so you'd then have to hope that a shop can sell a flame sword, as that would be the best weapon that you can acquire.
Yeah, and it is certainly possible to beat the game without Erdrick's sword. We've seen it happen multiple times in this tournament. But you'd really rather not.
Something you would definitely not want to do here in the grand finals. So Holmes taking down a Wolf Lord, but now has minimal hit point resources.
We have up to NG at level 8, where he learned the spell of Repel. Looks like Mr. Holmes is walking his way through the swamp cave and decides, oh, all right, he comes out the other side. Let's see if there's anything to the east of the swamp cave. This is a direction we did not see up2ng go, and we have two towns here.
Gets away from the Wolf Lord, and we see there's Hawksness. Does have enough HP to get to the next town, and it's the town of Cole.
Okay, let's see what we have here in the weapon and armor shop. We have a full plate armor and a large shield. So that's really nice, but let's see what we have here in the search spot. Do we have anything nice? Do we have an armor? We have Erdrick's armor!
Oh, wow. How fortunate for Mr. Holmes. The best armor in the game, so apart from maybe grinding for a silver shield later, as far as purchasing weaponry and armory, Holmes is essentially good to go.
Yep, the only thing he might want to do is if he ever finds a silver shield, maybe grind for that, but Mr. Holmes probably very content with the large shield. Erdrick's armor, of course, being one of the more broken armors in NES history, if not the most broken armor. It cuts fire breath and hurt more spells damage by a third. It prevents the spell of stop spell from sticking. It heals 1 damage. It heals 1 HP for every step you take, and it is the absolute best armor in the game.
Yep, it gives 28 defense, and additionally, you don't take damage when walking in those black swamp tiles, whereas normally you would take 2 hit points of damage. And barrier tiles, which you'll see, they're those diagonally slanted, almost ice-type tiles. You'll see a little bit later, some call them broken glass. But normally you would take 15 hit points of damage every time you walk on those, but with Erdrick's armor, nope, no worries at all.
And we have Mr. Holmes right behind up2ng, getting up to level 8, and will get his spell of Repel.
And now seems to have found a nice area here with these Druin Lords, as well as Spectres. Very nice mid to upper tier enemies that are able to give you 40-something, 50-something experience a pop.
Question in chat, did Holmes buy herbs? No. Mr. Holmes did not buy herbs in the town of Cole.
Oh, and Wolf Lord's in this zone as well.
Holmes has really found a nice mid-level grind here. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays here for quite a bit. Radonic asking in chat, is this the final run? This is it. This is absolutely positively the final run of the tournament. This is the game 3 of the best of 3 between Mr. Holmes and up2ng. up2ng taking game 1, Mr. Holmes taking game 2. And then follow-up question to that in chat. Well, if it is a tie, then the tie-breaking protocol is a new seed is rolled, but with very fast experience. The first player to get to level 10 and the new seed with that very fast experience wins.
I believe they would have to finish within 1 second of one another for that to occur.
Indeed.
Unlikely, but not out of the realm of possibility given how skilled both of these runners are.
And both of these runners are, no, I don't think, is this going to give up2ng enough for level 9? Because I know it is on Mr. Holmes' side.
Yes, it does. 975 the target number, so right on each other's heels at level 9, 272, and 36 for the magic points.
That's absolutely wonderful. Too bad they don't really have anything great to cast. I mean, you'd love to see a heal spell, a sleep spell, a spell of stop spell, heal more, hurt more. Those are all the spells you'd love to have MP for. Of course, these are also all the spells that they don't have.
I didn't get the chance to mention in the beginning, well, this is a randomizer of Dragon Warrior, and what's randomized here is you've seen the overworld map as well as the locations of the towns and caves, the contents of the treasure chests and search spots. Also, the order in which they learn their spells are randomized, though they are guaranteed to learn all 10 spells by level 16. Also, the enemy locations are randomized as well as their spells and abilities. And once we get to the Dragon Lord, well, it's got a little bit of a variance there as well. Normally in the vanilla version of the game, it has 130 hit points, but here it can have a range from anywhere from 150 to 165 hit points.
Just to catch up a couple questions in chat. Number one, where was the sword? The sword was in the throne room. The other question was, why are we not seeing any more exploration? Well, right now, MisterHomes and up2ng have both found very good mid-level grinds. And right now, neither one of them, well, up2ng certainly has no access to the heal spell. MisterHomes does have access to herbs, but I would imagine he's trying to go for, probably a heal spell, heal more spell. So we're just going to see some, levels going up here until these runners feel comfortable that they can actually take long-term explorations.
Well, additionally, an advantage for MisterHomes, having Erdrick's armor, every step that you walk, you heal that 1 hit point. So that gives you a little bit of a heal walk as you're grinding. And that allows him to stay up there around his max HP of 59 at this point.
It looks like these runners have found more or less the same zone, although in this zone it looks like MisterHomes isn't getting the same number of green dragons that up2ng is.
Unless that hill area where Holmes is, it's straddling between 2 different zones. Because I know we've seen a magician, we've seen a wraith, we've seen a green dragon, we've seen a wolf lord, we've seen a specter, and I believe we've seen a druid lord. So I have a feeling that somewhere along there, it's straddling 2 different zones.
I would absolutely agree with you. That this definitely seems like 2 different zones that MisterHomes is kind of bouncing between.
Up to 5 enemies can be in any particular zone, and the zones are divided in the land of 15 by 15 square grids.
And this will get MisterHomes to level 10. Let's see if level 10 holds anything nice.
I would say so.
Oh my god. 14 power, 20 agility. That's pretty nice.
Now, agility factors into defense, so for every 2 agility points, you get 1 defense point. So that was a boost there of 10 defense just from that level.
So it looks like Holmes is at least going to check to see what's here in Hawksness. It is a red dragon.
Our first sighting of what is known as the Fun Police, because they are among the strongest and most agile enemies in the game, so when they show up, the fun tends to stop, and you see it has ended MisterHomes' fun of exploration and sent him back to the castle at the cost of half of his gold.
So unless they get some really nice strength and or HP gains in the next little bit, that's certainly a mini-boss that is going to require the Heal More spell.
So there's the green dragon, and Holmes gonna give it a shot here. Figures he can 3-shot it on average here as long as there isn't a dodge or anything, or a really low roll, and is able to take it out.
It'll be interesting to see if Holmes... Nope, he just bypasses Rimmeldar, and he's going to do some exploration to the south of Rimmeldar.
And yes, DW Edit noting that MisterHomes able to one-shot the Wolf Lord with that 104 attack power. Can attack for a range of 21 to 43 hit points, and Wolf Lords can have up to 37 hit points. So there is the potential with a high roll to one-shot it.
Mr. Holmes wandering around that plain area to give himself a little extra HP thanks to the healing powers of Erdrick's armor. Let's see, are we getting near the end of this continent here? We are. So it looks like all that's on this continent is Tantagel Castle, the town of Rimmildar, and Swamp South, and the Jerk Cave. Well, and then, of course, the Shrine Cave underneath Tantagel Castle. So everything else is going to be on the other side of the Swamp Cave in this seed.
And that's where Holmes was able to find the town of Cole, and that's where he was able to get the armor. We see that Hawksness is there holding that red dragon that is more than likely guarding something.
So we do have up2ng getting level 10, but yet still doing some more grinding here on these mid-level enemies outside of Rimmildar. Ooh, golems with hurt. That could be really nice.
That'll be helpful a little bit later. The less that they punch, the better it is for our runners.
Ooh, and we have a town on the a nice little, peninsula type looking type thing over here. So this is either going to be the town of Cantlin, Breckenary, or Garenham. Those are the towns that we have not yet seen, and the wolf is preventing him from accessing the town.
It is Garenham.
Always a good town to see.
So now Mr. Holmes, with quick access to herbs, is going to stock up and buy a max 6 here. And then use one of the 2 keys that he has left to open up the door and check out the 3 treasure chests that sit behind.
Also wouldn't surprise me if he picks up a dragon scale here. And Mr. Holmes dons the scale of the dragon, thus increasing his defense by 2. And we do have a silver shield for sale here in Garenham. It'll be interesting to see if either of our runners decide to do a gold grind. We'll see. It's out there. And excuse me, we have the silver harp. We have another key. And we have the fairy flute. Oh, now that makes life a little interesting. So with the fairy flute in a treasure chest, that means that one of the 2 remaining search spots, either the overworld search spot or the Hawksness search spot, is going to be a blank.
Yep, so all the musical instruments here, and then we've also got an empty chest. That's going to be an herb. We've got some big bucks and another herb. The reason why they show up as empty is if you have a max 6 of either the magic key or the herb, it'll show up as an empty chest. up2ng, meanwhile, is continuing the grind right outside of Rimmildar and is fairly keeping pace, but here comes level 11. Not much on the stats, but there is the Spell of Hurtmore.
Ooh, that's a spicy meatball.
So stays at the inn, does up2ng, and picks up the leather armor. So a little defense boost of 4 here. Holmes, meanwhile, traversing through Garen's grave to access chest number 4 and 5. The 4th chest coming, and that is a magic key.
So we have one more chest here in the bottom of the grave. Let's see if this bottom chest will give anything nicely.
And there's Hurtmore for up to NG. And Mr. Holmes getting slept by a wyvern, but at this point with 73 defense, able to defense break the wyvern, meaning that because his defense is higher than the enemy's attack, it calculates a different attack range, which in the wyvern's case can go from 0 to, I believe, about 10 HP.
Depends on the enemy. 10 to 15, I believe, is the range, depending on the enemy.
For a wyvern, and doing the math here, it is 0 to 10.
And Mr. Holmes will issue a gold grind here, and we'll just heal up in the town of Garenham.
And it was a torch deep in the grave, I see. So chat noting Mr. Holmes not opting to take the Death Warp, and I think that's because his defense is so high and there weren't really any enemies that could do him in. So going to, at least for now, forego the gold grind. Maybe the Mountain Cave may change that up a little bit. And we saw a spark over bridge, a bridge over to one tile, but no way, at least as of yet, to access it. But possibly over this way?
We have Mr. Holmes exploring what we know now to be the second continent.
Oh, there it is.
Does find a way over to the Spark Over Bridge, but will not search it.
Oh, and that's the other edge of Tangential Castle, as we saw it there on Holmes' screen. And now up to NG, finding the town of Colin, is going to get his Erdrick's armor.
So really, Mr. Holmes has the edge in exploration, but that is pretty well limited to just having explored Garenham and the resulting grave of Garenham that was underneath Garenham. Now we have Mr. Holmes in the Mountain Cave.
Blue dragons, they could certainly take Mr. Holmes out, so we might see that potential gold grind after all. But first, exploring the cave. 5 treasure chests in here, the first of which are some wings.
Taking down a rogue scorpion for some nice experience there. Looks like up to NG is going to check out the spot here in Hawksnest to find the red dragon. Throws up the white flag, and the red dragon doesn't care and sends him back to start.
Meanwhile, Stones of Sunlight over on Holmes' side. It's one of the key items needed, and another set of wings. It works just like the return spell. If you use the wings, it'll take you back to Tangential Castle.
Shinkaido, yes, Silver Shield was indeed in Garenham. It looks like up to NG is going to check out the boss spot here in the Swamp Cave. And it looks like we do have Mr. Holmes setting up a gold grind here. And it looks like we have an armored knight here in the spike tile here in the swamp cave, and apparently this armored knight has a very high chance of casting the spell of Stop Spell. So this is going to make for a really nice grind sooner rather than later.
Now, I had to check the replay. Holmes only gathered 3 of the treasure chests in the mountain cave, so 2 of them still at large, but I don't think there was anything he'd be looking for. The only way that may come back to hurt him is if, for some reason, Erdrick's token is in one of those 2 treasure chests.
Yeah, and that would be... I mean, to say it would be unlucky would probably be a bit of an understatement. I think Mr. Holmes knows that the odds that those last 2 chests hold something he needs are, well, significantly in his favor to skip them. Okay, up to NG, getting a rather pedestrian level 12. 10 more agility, though. That's always a good thing.
And still no heal spells at level 12.
And up to NG, looks like he is going to take back the princess for a preemptive way to do his counting if there happens to be something on the overworld.
Meanwhile, Holmes going and purchasing the silver shield, so now all the best weaponry and armory in the game have been acquired by Mr. Holmes. That gives him an additional 10 defense, already up to 83. So there are only 9 non-Dragon Lord enemies in the game that can do significant damage to him. Although, something of note here, I mean, at level 11, only 67 HP, that's a little concerning. 75 at 12, it's a little better, but still not quite where our runners are looking to be.
Yeah, so right now it definitely looks like, well, our MP isn't real great either. We don't exactly know which stat is going to be our hold-up stat here just yet. I mean, you know, we've got a few more levels, we've got some more time to go, but it could be any one of those 3 stats that hold up our runners. We shall see.
Yeah, the MP is getting there, which is kind of where the orange is. The agility, as you can see in the green, that means it's pretty well good to go. The white means you're still making the climb. So right now, the concern is the strength and the hit points, which our runners have selected a name that favors both of those. But, yeah, neither. Apparently both of those are, well, they're a little lacking at the moment.
We have up to NG heading south of the town of Cole. And Mr. Holmes is very much looking for the town of Cantlin at this point in time. Meanwhile, we have up to NG approaching... Have we seen that cave?
I don't believe we have. And it's the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, which gives a bonus here, a free chest, and it's gold.
Focal Point UK asking, why is up to NG on 77 agility? Well, he is at excuse me, he is at level 12, and this is a randomizer. So, you know, stat gains are indeed randomized. And we have Cantlin right next to Sherlock. Alright, so Mr. Holmes now is going to make an absolute beeline. Well, after stocking up on some keys, he's going to make a beeline to the old man here in Catlin to get his coordinates. Meanwhile, we do have up to NG donning the scale of the dragon and getting his 2 defense power boost. So let's see, what do we have here? Do we have coordinates? Val may go and search. 9 north, 23 west. Okay, so that is on the second continent. But as chat is noting that even though it's on the second continent, these are definitely countable coordinates, because you can see Tantagel Castle from the second continent. All you have to do is find it and do your count from there. It is certainly countable.
And my other Nick noting in chat that Mr. Holmes able to count it, but up to NG may not realize that where exactly the other end of that river is in terms of the second continent in this case.
So the only things we have not yet seen in this seed are the town of Breckenary and the tablet cave.
That is correct. And treasure chest wise, those 2 that weren't open in the mountain cave. But we now know, based off of things, because there are coordinates, that means Erdrick's token is going to be in that overworld search spot, and that red dragon that's in Hawksness is guarding a whole lot of nothing, because we've already found the fairy flute and Erdrick's armor, the other 2 searchable items.
Okay, and up to NG, I believe, has found the tablet cave. Okay, so Mr. Holmes is now re-engaging his count. And first search gets his token. Casts a quick return, and now we'll return the staff, the stones, and the token for the rainbow drop. So now Mr. Holmes is in what we call grind and go mode. He just needs to grind the levels that he needs in order to take down the Dragon Lord. So now it just becomes, okay, where is Mr. Holmes going to set up a grind? And it looks like he's going to check to see the spike tile here in the swamp cave, and we know that that is an absolute perfect place to do a grind, as the Armored Knights in the spike tile do appear to cast Stop Spell at a very high rate.
And Stop Spell being negated by Erdrick's armor, pretty much, it's almost like, I don't know, just trying to blow some sort of breath that has no effect. I don't know. I had something and lost it there. But there is the good news. That is something that is not lost on Mr. Holmes.
Now, it'll be interesting to see what Mr. Holmes does here with this knowledge. Is he going to just use attacks, or will he do hurt more in one attack, or will he do a double hurt more? Let's see what he does. I would think he'd probably do one hurt more and then follow it up with an attack or two just to kind of save some resources here.
Well, if it's casting Stop Spell this much, he could probably use up all of his hurt mores and still attack, take a death, and he is, what, maybe 15 steps from Tanagal back to that cave, and then just walk him right back through and back to the grind once again.
Well, Mr. Holmes finding out that the Armor Knights do have hurt more. Okay, so the next experience marker we're looking for is, I believe, 4125 for level 13.
That is correct. And a great point brought up here by Ness Cardinality that up2ng has been keeping pretty even in the experience despite not having that Erdrick's armor early, but staying close to the vest and not getting that exploration. That could be the difference pending some disaster in Charlotte Castle.
Alright, I'm a little surprised at this point up2ng hasn't used Gwaylin's Love to try to kind of figure out where he is on the overworld map. And Mr. Holmes heading back into the Swamp Cave to do an Armored Knight grind.
And up2ng hearing Garenham, and I believe this is the first that he has been here?
It is indeed. So he will find the Silver Harp back here, and then a whole lot of nothing. Meanwhile, we do have Mr. Holmes getting to level 13 and not getting the Heal More spell. Nice strength boost, though. 8 strength here at this level.
And still, every spell but heal and heal more. Still no healing at level 13.
But if stat gains stay like this, then, level 16, if Heal More is level 16, that could very well be Go Mode level 16. up2ng finding the herbaceous first floor here of the Grave of Garen. Meanwhile, up2ng about to dive the grave. He'll be very disappointed with what he sees, but it's got to do it. up2ng finding the magic key and continues his dive down the grave. We know that chest 5 here is going to be a torch. He doesn't.
Now a pair of armored knights going down. And this is going to get up to NG to level 13. But you can see with the dedicated grind here by Mr. Holmes, the experience lead jumping up to almost 1,000, or at least it will be after this armored knight takedown.
And this experience lead is just going to keep continuing to grow and grow, as up2ng will continue his search for, well, both the token and the Stones of Sunlight. Although up2ng does know that the token is in fact on the overworld. He just doesn't know where on the overworld yet, nor does he know where on the overworld the mountain cave is. You know, not to bring the whole commentator's curse into things, but...
Oh, here we go.
Have we seen any sort of dragon breath in this seed?
I can neither confirm nor deny that statement.
Because I do believe we have not found any Dragon Lord 2 breath. I wonder if it's all waiting for our runners in Hawksnest or in Sharlock. Mr. Holmes getting a whole lot of nothing at level 14.
Including Empty Eye's favorite, 0 HP! He loves it!
So up to NG, healing up in Garenham, and now is going to wander off to hopefully find the mountain cave. Now, if I do remember, the mountain cave isn't too terribly far west from Garenham, if I remember correctly. Meanwhile, I think up to NG is kind of sort of approaching the area where he needs to be for the token. I believe it's in this set of hills right here.
Yeah, just use that Gwaelin's Love that you picked up here. Or he'll head over here to the east. He'll see that Tanagil's across the way. Once he checks out the bridges here, sees there's a whole lot of nothing, and he'll go, ooh! And there's that ooh realization. He's looking and seeing, oh, okay. Can get this figured out here. So he's counting it even though he has Gwaelin's Love. You'd figure he would... Well, okay. He has it, but he doesn't want to use it.
Gwaelin's Love just takes so long for that text to scroll through. I don't blame him, because just hesitating to do that count right there probably saved him a couple of seconds over using Gwaelin's Love. And I love thee too, Toaster. Wait, what? All right, up to NG has found the mountain cave and will most probably bail the heck out of here real quick once he finds the Stones of Sunlight.
So those other chests will more than likely go unexplored. Although if he goes south first, then he may check that one of the two chests.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if he does a gold grind, because he does know where the silver shield is in Garenham. So we shall see if he does a gold grind here.
All right, he is going to head to the south, is up to NG. Meanwhile, don't blink, but Mr. Holmes now has a 2,000 experience lead.
And about the only, the best thing that up2ng could find here would be the death necklace, but this is very much not looking like a death necklace seed.
Now, the death necklace in the vanilla version of the game is just a cursed item, but here it was given a little bit of a risk-reward boost. So if you put on the death necklace, it gives you an additional 10 attack power, but at the cost of 25% of your maximum hit points.
Yep, and up2ng is like, nope, I'm done. And I would imagine he's going to cast very quick return. Yep, he's going to cast return. He's probably going to heal up his... up2ng, did you get the Staff of Rain?
He just realized that he did not, so back to Tanagal to pick up the staff. Meanwhile, Mr. Holmes continuing to put a clubber in on these armored knights here. And, oh, by the way, at level 14, still no heal or heal more spell.
So, which means the randomizer will say, okay, fine, I'll do you a solid and give you heal at level 15.
Yes, Invenerable, I did say clubberin, if you will.
It's clubbering time. Nice agility boost, no MP, and the spell of Heal More.
Yeah, I was going for the late great Dusty Rhodes, but CM Punk reference works too.
All right, so we're starting to kind of, sort of close in on go time for Holmes. Kind of, sort of. I mean, you still... This might not be level 16. The stat gains have really ground to a halt right here. We still need, 13-ish strength. We still need at least 12 or 13 more HP. MP we still need more of, so we've got a while to grind here, I do believe.
Well, there you go. The commentator's curse hit. We found rogue scorpions with Dragonlord 2 breath.
I am not sorry.
Holmes able to hang on with 1 HP, though.
So with the spell of Heal More, and given that their attack power is 119, I wonder if Mr. Holmes is going to change to grinding on the red dragons, or if he's just going to go back to the Armored Knight.
I would think that the Armored Knight is probably where he's going to stick with here, just because it's very close to home. He has the Hurt More spell to be able to take it out, whereas with the Red Dragons, I mean, that HP is still super low.
Yeah, I just was curious as to why he decided to go out and heal as opposed to just taking a Death Warp. Might be something we have to ask him in the post-game race. Interview, possibly.
Comment from Ness Cardinale in chat. Holmes thinking about saving money for a second silver shield. Which you can't do, by the way. Well, you can save the money, you just can't purchase a second silver shield.
Why not? You should be able to dual-wield shields if you so desire. Just like you should be able to dual-wield weapons if you so desire. You shouldn't have to be, you shouldn't have to be forced to do one weapon and one shield.
But no, humor aside, So you're thinking about entering more quickly from the north entrance. So I don't know. I guess it's one of those minute time-saving differences of exiting from the North Cave, walking to the inn and saving, versus taking the Death Warp, walking through Tangel Castle, or casting Return even, and then walking from Tangel Castle to the bottom of the cave, walking from the bottom of the cave all the way up and around. So I can see how that might save a few steps by outsiding to the north, going to the inn that way, and walking back.
All right, so we have a pretty good question here in chat. What is defense breaking? Farron, you've got a pretty good explanation for that, so I will let you handle this one.
Most certainly. So when you defense break an enemy, that means that your defense points are the same as or higher than an enemy's strength. Once that occurs, then the game provides a different calculation, which provides a lower range of damage, considerably lower. So in the case, the Armored Knights, it's very rare that you're going to defense break them, but at the moment, MisterHomes with 97 defense points is able to defense break everything up to, say, an Axe Knight. If he had below 94 defense, it could do definitely double-digit damage and well into the 20s. With the defense breaking, though, he is guaranteed on an Axe Knight to take no more than 16 hit points of damage. With one more defense point, he'll be able to defense break blue dragons, and they'll be able to attack for no more than 17.
Yep. And defense power is calculated as half of your agility plus the defense power of whatever you have equipped. In MisterHomes' case, he has the 28 from Eredric's armor, and I believe it's the 20 from the Silver Shield. So 48 plus half of his agility.
Yep, 48 plus 47, and then you also add the 2 for the dragon scale, and that's what gets the 97.
Yep.
All right, now that we've given a math lesson, on to science. Z, I'm going to defer to you on this one.
Science! While we have a second here, I want to take a moment to thank our wonderful behind-the-scenes crew with who we cannot do our jobs. Our wonderful restreamer, CD Improv, and our tracker, Centroid41.
And then, as noted there in the chat, also in here in the booth with us, the silence behind the violence here, the creator of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer game, none other than McGrew.
So level 16 again with a whole bunch of, well, not much except for more agility. Defense power up to 100 now on MisterHomes' side, but strength at 79, MP at 79, HP at 96. So we're getting closer, but we're not there yet. Not even particularly close to there yet.
A great question in chat. What does a restreamer do? A restreamer is almost like a television production truck for internet streaming, being able to capture the feeds of both of the runners and put them on a display. The best way to describe it's almost like a television production truck.
Yeah, so what CD Improv does, or any of our restreamers do, is they take the streams from MisterHomes and up2ng. They can crop and upload the streams to this particular display that you see in front of you, and then they take this display and stream it to RPG Limit Break.
Well, since I'm being accused of calling CD Improv a truck, it's more so the crew that runs an entire production truck. It's a large crew in that case, but in this case, it's one large crew of people all being operated by one person. That is how skillful CD Improv is. Saved it. Maybe.
And if any of you are here for the first time or relatively new to Dragon Warrior Randomizer, please do not hesitate to ask in chat, and please feel free to join the Discord. We are an extraordinarily welcoming and helpful community, and we will do whatever we can. If you're interested in playing this competitively or even just for fun, we will do our best to make sure that you have the best experience possible.
And in case somebody asks, since we've got time to kill while the grind's going on here, a tracker, they're essentially like the scoreboard operator. They're the ones who are handling all of the displays that you see along the bottom of the screen.
We do have a question in chat. Why aren't they grinding on the red dragon here? Why isn't Holmes grinding on the red dragon now that he has level 16? The attack power and HP probably aren't high enough. I mean, at 121 attack power, you're still in the range of 3 to 4 attacking a red dragon, and you're still, on the armored knight, you're doing one hurt more and an attack to kill a armored knight. So the experience to time factor is still right now in favor of the armored knight.
Yeah, 121 attack power, you're hitting anywhere from 19 to 38 hit points of damage, and the red dragons can have up to 106. Whereas the armored knights, they can have up to 99, you're hitting them for 19 to 39, and you have that hurt more that hits for 58 to 65. So hurt more is still way more efficient, but as I say that, Mr. Holmes going to head on back here into Hawksness and make fools of the both of us.
Well, he only needs a couple more red dragons for level 17, and he's relatively sort of close enough that level 17 might be the quote-unquote magic level and might lead to go time.
Well, he's just 383 experience away from level 17, which would be 2 red dragons, or a red dragon and something else. I was going to say, not quite. Yeah, something else in that. Okay, now there's the math there. So 128. I don't know, maybe an Axe Knight. Red, but now he's going to go for another red dragon.
Yep. So let's see. Will level 17 be go mode, or will you have to go to level 18? You need. It all depends on the stat gains here. Let's see.
5 power, 4 speed, 8 hit points, 5 magic points.
I don't think that does it.
Ooh, nope.
I mean, you could do it if you had more strength, or you could do it if you had more MP. You don't have either one, so I think you definitely have to go to 18 here.
So, while the grind continues, since I see the chat was making a lot of note of various wrestling references that I've made here, feel free to give me a follow, as not only do I talk wrestling in my stream, but I also have a pro wrestling radio talk show that airs every Saturday in real life, as I am a radio personality. Shameless plug over.
Indeed. If you are not following FearonBurgundy either here or on Twitter, then you are certainly missing out, because Fearon does have the golden voice here, so you should be listening to him as much as you can. All right, so we are having dueling grinds here. Mr. Holmes grinding on the Red Dragon here in Hawksness. Up to NG, still grinding on the Armored Knight here in the Swamp Cave. It'll be interesting to see, which one appears to be faster, but, at the very worst, they appear to be kind of, sort of equal right now. Level 18 is at 14,250. Level 19 is 16,500 if it gets to that point. Up to NG getting the quote-unquote bad news at level 16 that he's got to keep going.
So now up to NG working toward 12,000 experience to get to level 17. Meanwhile, to level 18, Mr. Holmes having to go, well up beyond that to, I believe, 14,250. So Holmes doing a little heel walking.
Because this Red Dragon will, in fact, get Mr. Holmes to level 18. So let's see what we have here at level 18. Some modest gains to strength and or MP should be enough to get him to where he needs to be. Let's see.
Ho, 22 power. I think that'll do it.
Nah, you should get one more to be sure. Holy cow. Incoming DL2 obliteration. So, another math lesson. So, how do we figure out how much damage that Dragon Lord 2 in particular is going to do, or how much damage we are going to do to Dragon Lord 2? So, Dragon Lord 2 has 100 defense power, so you take your attack power and subtract 100. Now you divide by 2 to get the high range. So 48 divided by 2 is 24. Divide that in 2 again to get the lower range, 12. So, Mr. Holmes is going to be doing 12 to 24 damage. Now that gives you an average of 18 damage. Dragon Lord 2 will have a minimum of 150 hit points and a maximum of 165 hit points. So, if you're doing 18 damage per swing and Dragon Lord 2 has that many hit points, you need... Alright, here comes math on the fly. 9-ish, 8 to 9 attacks to take out the Dragon Lord 2. Well, how many heal mores do you have? You have 11 heal mores. You certainly have a few heal mores to kill on the way down if necessary.
Yeah, 9, maybe 10 if you're unlucky, as the average of 18 per attack times 9, that is 162. So if it rolls 165, you may need to squeeze a 10th attack in there. But otherwise, for the sake of argument, more than likely 9 attacks.
Well, up to NG, closing in on level 17, and will be quite disappointed to learn that he's got to go another level.
Although in the first part of Sherlock here, we have red dragons. They certainly can be the equalizer.
Tharu asking in chat, is the damage output uniformly distributed among the ranges? That would definitely be a question for McGrew. I'm not sure, unless Faran, do you know the answer to that question?
I'm gonna defer to the maker of this one on this particular one. I have no earthly idea. Plus, he's been so humbly quiet. We want to add him in here.
Okay, the damage output linearly distributed. I'm a little soft on the math there. What a linear distribution is. Not exactly. It's there's a slight curve to the stat distribution. Just enough. Basically, the goal is for you to have the stats you need by around level 15, and so there's a slight curve to make that happen. But again, there is variance, so sometimes it's 13, sometimes it goes up to 21. And yes, Inveterable, I am a programmer, not a statistician.
Fair enough. But still, the analysis greatly appreciated. So Mr. Holmes now on the 7th and final basement of Sharlock, and just has a programmed mini-boss here as, well, there's that spike tile that usually surrounds the town of Cantlin. Had to be put somewhere, so figure, why not right here? And oh look, it's our old friend the Red Dragon.
But of course, Mr. Holmes is pretty well laughing in his chair at this point, knowing that this Red Dragon is going to go down in 3 hits, and he has enough heal mores to blow.
Yeah, that first attack of 51, that was a max roll.
Alright, and it is now time for Mr. Holmes to obliterate the Dragon Lord.
Again, I'm being corrected in chat. Yeah, they were asking about the damage output, and as far as I know, yes, that is evenly distributed linearly.
So here we go. No back attacks. Starting off with 20. Again, Holmes can hit for 12 to 24. There's another 18. We're at 38. Now 53. Gonna have to heal more again here. It's already roughly a third of the way there.
Yeah, basically the only way Holmes loses this is a miss menu.
Up to 81 now. $98. Now have to use another heal more. $113. Now 127. I was debating whether he might throw a swag and lord, but probably not here. It's the finals. No time for swag.
I would agree with that. I wouldn't swag, but you never know what Mr. Holmes might do.
And another 16, and that does it. So it was fairly low on the rolls. Mr. Holmes has taken down the Dragon Lord, is going to walk up the promenade. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not already, get out your GGs for the 2019 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament Champion, Mr. Holmes, who will take this race with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 48 seconds.
Indeed, Mr. Holmes has taken his second Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament title. Nicely bookending Game Boy F9's 2 titles. So, Mr. Holmes taking the title in 2016, Game Boy F9 in 17 and 18, and Mr. Holmes taking the title down in 2019. Get out your GGs. Mr. Holmes, your 2019 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Champion.
Up2ng, meanwhile,
Let's
continuing the grind, is a
go!
little less than 400 experience
Let's
away from level
go!
18.
Yes!
He will get his level 18 on this particular dive. So I would imagine we'll just see him cast outside and make his way over to Sherlock Castle. Once he obtains level 18, where we know level 18 is certainly go mode.
Up2ng getting the numbers and immediately getting out of dodge.
Immediately going to head over to Cantlin, which is right in the shadow of Sherlock. I also should make a note here that MisterHomes lost only once in this entire tournament, and that was game 1 to up2ng.
Yep, went 5-0 in the Swiss rounds, and obviously in the single elimination, won all the way through to the finals here, and with the best 2 out of 3, was able to... Well, he lost game 1, but was able to come back and take games 2, and now game 3 here for the championship.
And there we go. We are joined in Discord by our 2019 Dragon Warrior Tournament champion, MisterHomes. MisterHomes, congratulations, my friend. Very well done.
Thank you so much. I'm just very, very happy right now.
As well you should be. So, take us through that seed. What'd you think of the seed?
Well, I think that the sword was kind of nice. And then we were kind of pigeonholed in the map, and I kept getting killed by green dragons and various enemies on my way to Rimmeldar. And eventually I just said, you know what? Let's go through the swamp cave, and I walked the right direction right into coal. And that was basically the RNG exploration luck I needed. Getting the armor and then finding that zone right next to it with wolf lords and specters and druid lords. And there's one other thing that was really good too. Wraiths. And I was just able to grind for a few levels, and we still didn't get healed, but we got enough strength that I could start exploring the map a little bit and just found everything in short order. Just really happy with how I played.
Yeah, as definitely you should, but you played an absolutely wonderful match today. Just to give you an idea, up2ng is diving Sherlock now. He is just about to enter the bowels of Sherlock Castle.
Oh, okay. So as in at the beginning or the end?
Beginning. He's now on floor 2.
All right. Yeah, like it's just a breeze to get through there with 1,054 agility. So we should be finishing super soon.
Well, unless, of course, he keeps getting back attacked by star wyverns.
Yeah, I mean, they'll chip away like 5 damage at a time.
So what made you decide to change from Armored Knight grind to the Red Dragon grind, closer to a heal station?
So that was definitely one thing in favor of it. I mean, the Armored Knights were, I guess, close enough to the castle, right? So that wasn't too bad, but it was HP was the biggest difference for me. Like when we had 85 HP, it was going to take 3 or 4 hits to kill the red dragon, and you'd have to heal more at least once, if not twice every fight. And with how little magic we had, I was like, okay, that's no go. And then eventually when we got 96 HP, then we could start getting close to killing it without having to heal more, and that kind of tipped the scale in my favor. That's why I made the change.
Did you happen to know that golems had sleep?
No, I think I saw one of them, and it used hurt on me, and then I ran away.
Yeah, up2ng almost got obliterated by a sleep, back attack sleep on a golem.
I'm not even sure if I ended up seeing one in Sharlock.
And of course, only one enemy that we've seen all game had Dragonlord 2 Breath, the Rogue Scorpion.
Right, yeah, that was a surprise going through the Swamp Cave at one point. I had 47 HP, and in true fashion, it breathed me for 46. It's fair.
So Rogue Scorpions, Droll Magi, and Magicians all had Dragonlord 2 Breath.
Oh, maybe I got Dragonlord Breath by a Magician in the early game? I don't know. But one thing I just wanted to talk about, and it might be overlooked in all of this, is right before I got level 18, I noticed I was about 300 magic away. And I was like, okay, that's like one red dragon plus a little bit of change. And so I rather than going to the town and healing and coming back, I figured, you know what? If this is the level, I'm just gonna fight it now, so I only have to stay at the inn once. And then it worked out perfectly. I was able to walk back all my health, kill that red dragon, saw 22 power, and just booked it.
We did note the heal walking, and we figured, all right, he was trying to go for the level, and I was thinking, all right, he had the 255. What else could he have gotten? Because I think you needed 127 or 128 after that. So I was like, all right, maybe an Axe Knight or a Green Dragon, but none of those were around. So it was just, okay, he's going to go for Red Dragon number 2.
Yeah, exactly. And my thought process was, I didn't want to go to the inn, come back, fight one red dragon, and then have to leave again. Like that, I just figured, why not? I don't know if it was necessarily the right decision, but the fact that it was the level made the decision work out, and it was just interesting thing that I thought might have gone behind the scenes.
Well, it looks like the early exploration for you is what had put you ahead here, as up2ng, as he is known to do, kind of stuck around, was keeping pace with you in terms of experience, but he kept running into the green dragons, whereas you were running into the more favorable enemies, those Druid lords and wraiths and specters, and he kind of kept taking those deaths, and because you had made your way out and ventured a little bit, you were able to go to Cole well before up2ng did, so you were able to get the armor fairly quickly by comparison.
Yeah, like in my point, that is like the most important point of my run, was getting the armor that early. So I guess that's 1A, and 1B would be finding the Druid Lord just southwest of Cole, and then being, wait a second, let's just walk in this desert, see what else is there. Because, I mean, we didn't have heal and we had like 40 or 50 HP. It's like, what's the point to exploring when you're probably just going to get schmacked? Like, what do you have to gain? You already have the sword, you already have the armor. And, like, that decision as well was just perfect. Allowed me to get off the ground and run.
And we do have up2ng fighting the second form of the Dragon Lord. Pretty sure has the Dragon Lord almost taken care of, because that level 18 was just ridiculous. Gotta love it when you can attack the Dragon Lord 2 with 148 attack power.
Nice, yeah. I think I opened with like a 52 or a 55. I hit 51 on the red dragon on the spike tile. That was enjoyable in many ways.
Yeah, you max rolled the red dragon on that first attack, and then yes, you max rolled Dragon Lord 1 for 55 on the first attack on that.
Well, you gotta be lucky to be good, hey?
All right, everybody in chat, get out your GGs. Up2ng has finished this seed with a official SRL time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 7 seconds. And will absolutely finish a respectable second place in this tournament to Mr. Holmes. What a fantastic tournament for Up2ng, and he will join us in Discord in a moment. All right, maybe less than a moment.
That was a very quick moment.
Up2ng, congratulations, man. Well played. Great tournament.
All right, what's up, guys? Yeah, congratulations, Mr. Holmes. Heck of a job. You must have really crushed it in this one. I mean, I can't imagine what I could have done to save more than about a minute on that. So, very nice.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on a wonderful tournament. I would have been happy regardless of what happened. I always love seeing people perform at a high level, and you've done nothing but that the whole tournament. So you should be really proud.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, I mean, I had my chance to win the tournament yesterday, so it just didn't quite work out. I mean, based on today, you definitely deserve it. I mean, that's just a huge time for that seed.
Yeah, the thing that tipped it in my favor was I'm not sure exactly what the time was when I got it, but I feel like I probably got the armor in the first 20-25 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, it
my
was
first exploit.
I think it was like 22 minutes, somewhere around there. It was certainly a good, 10, 15 minutes ahead of Up2ng, certainly.
Yeah,
I could see that making a difference in this one, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I was mostly just grinding up until I found the armor, so I guess the grind would have gone a little bit better if I had the armor. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess it makes some difference. Certainly without a healing spell, it's easier to explore the rest of the map with heal walking, for sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't even so much that, but it actually, just southwest of Cole, there was just the perfect zone for where we were in the seed. There were Druid Lords and Wraiths and Specters and Wolf Lords. And so I literally just sat there, and I think I grinded like 3 levels without having to go to the inn. It was just perfect.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same zone that Up2ng had found, as DW had noting in chat, but it didn't have the green dragons. Those green dragons that were taking you out early, Up2ng, that was certainly problematic, in addition to having the considerably lower defense, not having found Erdrick's armor that early.
Yeah, I also had to use the inn after every battle. So, yeah, I guess that would slow things down. I suppose some of those enemies, even early on, would have been defense broken if I had had the armor. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, but this one was surprisingly difficult for getting the sword so early. Like I was saying, we were basically pigeonholed at the start. It was so weird.
It's hard to play a seed when you never get healing. I mean, we've had a few of those, I think, in the finals, and they've all been slightly different, but it's an issue. I mean, you just can't necessarily get anywhere, even if you have the sword. So I don't remember anymore how far away Cole was with the armor, but was it through Swamp Cave and then like a little bit ways off? I don't know.
It was probably like, I want to say 25 tiles southeast of Swamp North.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went through Swamp Cave like one time and got like I got killed like after just a few steps, and then spent the rest of my time on the first continent. So yeah, I guess it's a little bit of map RNG there then. Yeah,
it worked out really well, and I was able to coordinate a grind. I got a silver shield in Grinham. I went to Grinham, saw they had a silver shield, then I went through the grave and cleared that out, and didn't get the stones, right? The stones were in the mountain cave. So I was going to do a death warp, but I just figured, well, I'll do it after I clear the mountain cave. And then I was able to loop around to the mountain cave, clear that out, and then do a gold grind. And then once I got the token, I was just in grind and go mode.
Did you fight your way down by any chance? Because it was still kind of a long way off. It's just that we got a huge boost there at the end. So I wasn't sure if you like went for it and just, or if you just stayed until you got.
No, I got level 18. I started grinding Armored Knights, and then at level 16 and a half, I fought Red Dragons to level 18, and then I just had it, so.
Very good. Well, congrats. I mean, amazing finals overall. Definitely, you won this one by a wide margin, so I think that's pretty much, you know, you deserve to be the champ this year, and we'll see what happens next time around. I guess the mechanics of the randomizer might be quite different by then. I know that things are happening to make changes, and we'll have to learn the game all over again.
Yeah, shoutouts to McGrew for continually doing work on this randomizer. Like, the new update has introduced so much more complexity into the game, and it's made it a lot more challenging, but also a lot more fun. And like, every seed just is so unique. I mean, it always is, but even more so. It's just, there's always some different challenge each time, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, not sure if McGrew's still here tonight in the booth, but maybe, I don't know if you want to let us know if there's a release coming at a certain time frame or anything, because I know there's been like an alpha or a beta kind of being play tested, and there's some big changes coming, I know. So
Yeah, there's an alpha on the Discord. I don't really have a time frame for the full release. It's that busy time of year when school is in and with children. You know, you understand that.
oh yeah, I almost missed this race. I was like, oh man, we gotta get everything settled down here. It's almost 9 o'clock. It was yeah, I know the feeling. So definitely priorities, but
Yeah, but definitely.
yeah, this has been a lot of fun for, you know, whatever recreational time we can squeeze in. I've really enjoyed this community and this particular game that we've gotten going here, and looking forward to more.
Yeah, but I will say that I do plan to have it out before the league in February, I believe. So that's the plan for sure.
Awesome stuff. I mean, like, this was such a big tournament, and it's crazy that we've gone up to 64 people this year. I can't wait to see how many people are going to be in the next one. Like, the fact that we've been able to we were generously offered RPG Limit Break as a streaming platform has just been so incredible. So I want to say not only a special thank you to those people and the audience, but to all the people who have done countless restreams and commentary. It's just, with more entrants becomes more people needed. So some people put in some big time and did a lot of hard work here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite a community. Everybody's been pitching in, and it's made for an awesome tournament to play in and to watch as well. So thanks everybody for that. And yeah, congrats, MisterHomes. Hopefully we'll be starting up, you know, weeklies once or possibly twice a week. And then, you know, as new releases come out and things like that, maybe we'll run some weeklies, and yeah, and then we have the league. So there's always more going on with this community. Hopefully people will join, and we'll get some more races going.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll be there. This has been so great. Just such a well-run tournament. Again, wouldn't be possible without the organizers and all the volunteers. So again, that's my main takeaway from all of this.
Well, it's good that you mentioned that, as actually joining us here in the booth as well is one of the tourney administrators here, Tilo, who has a few words as we wrap up the 2019 Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament. Take it away, Tilo.
Yeah, so first of all, just congratulations, MisterHomes, and thank you both you and up2ng on making it such an entertaining finals. Congratulations to you as well, up2ng, for making it to the finals. This has been an absolutely packed tournament in terms of talent, and so getting here is really impressive. I'm just here on behalf of the admins. I wanted to thank a few people. I wanted to thank specifically Puexel and RPG Limit Break for letting us use this channel so much. It's allowed us to get a lot more visibility to our community and allowed a lot more people to find this, and it's been really fun to watch everything grow. Also want to thank Randomania, who's also restreamed most of our races, and the Tie-Dye Guy and Captain U, who are responsible for the tracker that we've seen for all of our races. They've put so much work into this, and I just wanted to recognize them for that. Thank you to all of our racers, all of our viewers, all of our volunteers who helped restream, track, commentate. I want to give special thanks to our lead team, who our lead commentators, Fearon and Z-Man, who are both in the booth right now. You've gotten to hear their lovely voices for this race. Our lead tracker, CyberDark86, and our lead restreamer, CD Improv, who helped us put together so much of this of our broadcasts. So grateful for all of your help. I want to thank the other admins here. We've put a lot of work behind the scenes to get all of this going, and so I want to give my appreciation to everybody else behind the scenes here. Of course, to McGrew for making this amazing game. I just touched on it a second ago, but CD Improv has put in so much work to get so much restreamed, has done more, probably more work than any of the admins in trying to get any of this done. So because of that, we have invited her to join the admin team. So congratulations, CD, on getting to have even more of an imprint than you already do on this community. If you enjoyed what you saw and are feeling like you're about to go through withdrawal, I do want to mention that there is going to be a 4-way Dragon Warrior randomizer race tomorrow on the RPG Valkyries channel. They are running a marathon for the Take This charity. And so if you want to see any more, want to get your fix, then you have the opportunity at 5:40 tomorrow. And it has been touched on by the other by McGrew, but we are going to have a winter league coming up in February. And that is a different format than the tournament here. It's kind of more grouped. We have more group races and a whole variance of flags each week, so that each week is different from the last. It's not the same flag sets that you're seeing here. And with all the work McGrew's put into the next version, it's going to have some incredible gameplay. And so if you've enjoyed this or you want to be part of the community, please join the Discord, and we will enjoy seeing you for the winter race. We should also have weekly starting up pretty soon on Sunday and Wednesday. So there's plenty of opportunities to join us and get involved. On that note, again, thank you, everybody, and I'll let you finish up there, Fearon.
Well, thank you so much. Make sure to give both of our runners a follow. Well, really, I mean, if you want to go and look, we have the link there of the entire tournament bracket. Make sure to give all 64 of the runners in the race here a follow if you can, because they've all done fantastic here over the course of the last 11 weeks. But specifically tonight here, up2ng, our runner-up, and our 2019 champion, MisterHomes. And make sure to follow all the folks behind the scenes as well, as we've got Centroid41. You were talking about the lead commentators and lead folks here. Centroid41 taking care of the tracking, CD Improv taking care of the restreaming, and McGrew, the creator of the game, definitely want to give him some love. And my co-commentator, Z-Man050778, one half of the Keystone Connection here. We love bringing the action to you, and it's always a blast when we're in the booth together here.
Yeah, it really is. And I just want to say that, thank you again to the admin team for putting this on. This has been an absolute joy to commentate and to watch and to just be a part of. I really had a great time over these past couple months, and I can't wait to do it in February. That's going to be fun with all the new options coming. The league in February is going to be fun. So I'm very much looking forward to doing this again in a few months.
Most certainly. So any closing thoughts here before we wrap up the 2019 summer tournament here?
Now, just make sure to give everybody involved a follow. Congrats again to our runner-up up2ng and our winner, Mr. Holmes. But I think we can now kick it over to our friends playing Zelda 1 randomizer, I believe.
That's correct. We're going to head over to Speed Gaming 3, where it's going to be Tom J taking on Dr. J PhD, and that's going to be over on Speed Gaming 3. And for everybody here in the Dragon Warrior randomizer community, I'm FearonBurgundy saying until next time, may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. Good night, everyone.